Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we're talking Starfield. And if you're new here and you're into the latest things, Starfield, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, consider subscribing. That's all we do here. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for the sub, for the follow. I really appreciate it. I'm stoked on it. Let's get into it. Topic of the day is brought to us by Reddit, and I hang out in that community, and I've been part of the Starfield community in Reddit since it was like 100 people, and Starfield was a theory of a game back, forever ago. But the post today is from somebody that I'm actually a fan of, called King Fanman, and he does a lot of Bethesda content himself. And if you're not following this guy, go follow him, man. I mean, he's better than I am. But what he posted is really exciting, so let's talk about it. Essentially, it has been leaked that the PlayStation port of Starfield is coming very soon. It looks like pre-orders will be as early as a few weeks from now, and PlayStation players will be able to enjoy Starfield starting in early April. So super excited for that fan base. I think they're going to love it. I think Starfield has gotten so much better since launch. There are so many awesome mods and creations now available. And I think you're also going to get the experience of the new DLC at the same time. So I want to cover a few key things that are coming in the update, as well as my thoughts on them. So let's start here. Interplanetary travel and more things to do in space. I think this one's going to be really cool, and I think it's a big piece of what Starfield is currently lacking, is the ability to travel planet to planet while in systems. I'm not as concerned with traveling from system to system. If they want to just make that a nice mask loading screen, that'd be cool, but being able to travel planet to planet and run into adventures along the way, I think would really bring back the essence of what makes a Bethesda game a Bethesda game. And that is when I play Elder Scrolls or I play Fallout and I got to get from point A to B, I very commonly run into something in between, and that takes me in a whole different direction. And at the end of the night, I'm like, wow, how did I end up here? It doesn't just feel like go to this point, do this. It feels like you're just immersed in this world. You're taken in random places, random directions, random quests, random adventures. And you seem to have this takeaway of I found something special or I did something special and I got off the beaten path and rewarded for it. So I think Starfield loses that a little bit because right now you have get a quest at planet A, fast travel to planet B, do the quest on planet B, fast travel back to planet A, quest over, and it eliminates a lot of the ability to run into random things along the way. If you're in the cities and the hubs, it's still there. So I think some of the criticism of it's been completely terminated isn't fair. Because if you go hang out in Neon or New Atlantis or something like that, you surely are going to have quests that if you walk through the city, for example, and you hear someone talking and you go talk to that person, you get pulled different directions. But actually, just the journey piece of it, I feel has been a little broken in this one. And I'm really excited by the idea of getting to spend a little bit more time in my ship, because I spent a lot of time building my ship. It's an extension of a character to me. And potentially finding quests in space, maybe finding more dungeons in space that I have to go explore, give me more ship parts so I can just be more engaged in the overall ship travel experience, ship battle experience, docking other ship experience, exploring other ship experience, the whole deal, right? I think that is actually don't call it a 2.0 because you'll piss off the community, but if they do this piece right, it could be a whole game within itself and a vast improvement to Starfield. And I probably should go there for just a second, because I think that's the criticism people have about Starfield, and I can't completely disagree in that Starfield is a bunch of games within a game, and each one could be fleshed out a little better. So the ship building is phenomenal, but your ability to use the ship is pretty limited to just existing in orbit between planets and fighting in orbit between planets. But being able to actually travel around in your ship would be a big deal. And then Bethesda, if this works and everyone's excited about this and the PlayStation fan base loves this, which I think they're gonna, I think they're gonna get a really cool game out the gate, because don't get me wrong, like, I have 1,000 hours in Starfield. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And that's playing it as is. So I think adding this system along with all the stuff I've already loved and played for 1,000 hours, I think the PlayStation fan base is going to have just a ton of awesome stuff to do and really enjoy the game a lot more than Xbox and PC players did out the gate. Because it's a better game now. And then if they really enjoy it and the game gets new legs, maybe they can go and they can flesh out the outpost system more, make that into a whole thing, and maybe they can go and flesh out a few other things that they've done within the game. And suddenly this game goes from being what I consider great already to phenomenal, So there's a lot to be excited there. Next thing brought up, and I think this is important too, is the implementation of Unreal Engine elements within Creation Engine. Bethesda and Microsoft are cooking something up, and they're doing it for Elder Scrolls 6 to make the game more immersive, more gritty, better graphics, less loading screens. They have a whole team outside of Bethesda devoted to integrating these two engines together, elements of these two engines together, to make Creation Engine 3, which will run Elder Scrolls 6, a much better experience. And they said they're using Starfield as a test bed to try out these features. So this is really cool, because what we're talking about is less loading screens. And I know that sounds like not that big of a deal compared to that first one I talked about. But like, it's a pretty big deal, because like Starfield is such a big universe that there are a lot of loading screens currently. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be the person that says, oh my God, it's loading screen simulator. Oh, the game's wrecked because of loading screens, blah, blah, blah. Like, every fucking game has loading screens, guys, and this is pretty dramatic. But at the same time, we are talking loading screens to get from tile to tile on planets. We're talking loading screens to get from planet to space. We're talking loading screens to get from planet to planet. We're talking loading screens to get from system to system. We're talking loading screens to get inside of buildings and outside of buildings. So there is a lot of loading screens, right? Like, I could go and argue that Outer Worlds 2 and a million other games have a lot of loading screens also. They're video games, after all. They do have to load. And in the Creation Engine's case, we're talking a persistent open world that's not only giant, but every single object has to be saved forever. So if you move a jar 3 inches over, the Creation Engine remembers that for the next 1,000 hours, right? So like, loading the entire thing across the board would be pretty much impossible. I don't think it's a tech that exists yet. However, if we can eliminate some of them, mask some of them, animate some of them, I think it's going to go a long ways in staying a little more immersed. I have a really fast PC, and I also have the Xbox Series X. On these two things, the loading screens are pretty dang minimal. But if you're playing on an older PC or a lesser Xbox, I can see where these could be tedious, especially in places like Neon. I do hope if they add animations, though, that they give us the ability to skip the animations, because I would say that, like, in my case, most loading screens are like a quick blip, and watching like a 10 to 20 second animation every time might be more irritating over time. So I think I'd welcome it at first, but the ability to skip said animations if they're long also maybe welcome. Okay, so the last piece of the puzzle. We got PlayStation getting the cool new revamped Starfield. We got the new DLC coming for Starfield. What does this mean for PC and Xbox versus PlayStation? How are the users that are already enjoying the game going to get this content? What makes sense? What do I think it'll be priced at? This one's kind of interesting, because they've already said within the leak that PlayStation's probably going to get Starfield from $40 to $60. And that, I would imagine, is going to have all the DLC included. Shattered Space, Terrain Armada, that's the new one, guys, as well as every other update that Bethesda's done to Starfield. The maps, the settings, the Rev 8, like everything, creations. So what is fair to the Xbox and PC community, which have been playing the thing, paid full price in the first place? What makes sense? What should we pay to get the next DLC and enhancement ourselves? In my opinion, and I'd love to hear what you think in the comments section, I think we should get this for a pretty affordable price. I need to understand everything that's in that update, but I think if you're giving it to PlayStation from scratch for $40 or $60 for the deluxe, you almost got to give it to PC and Xbox players for $20 or even free of charge, honestly. What I'd love to see, I think, would be super duper cool is them just saying, hey, Xbox PC players, like, you get it because you've been invested in this thing the whole time, and we'll fund it by the giant ass 60 million player fan base of PlayStation 5. I don't want this taken the wrong way. Like, I'm fully in support of continuing to fund Starfield because I love Starfield and I've got so much out of it. But at the same time, like, how do you do what's fair to all the player bases involved? Like, how do you charge PC and Xbox players $20 or $30 for this thing that you're going to give the PlayStation fan base the full experience for $40, right? Like, that seems like you got to be really careful there. Like, I fully expect the thing that we're about to get is totally worth $20 or $30 or $40. But at the same time, if you're going to give other people the whole game for $40, then I'm scratching my head of being like, okay, so I've been like a supporter, a loyal fan. I buy creation credits all the time. Like, what's the deal here? How is this fair? You could argue that I've got to play the game for the last 3 years and they didn't, and they're getting a game that's 3 years old, or I got a game brand new. Sure. But I'm just kind of curious on that because, like, at the end of the day, like, man, I think you could bring so many players back on PC and Xbox if you make this thing really, really cheap. And you're also going to get all this good press for doing that. And at the same time, you get a surge of cash because with all the good press dropping at the same time that PlayStation drops, you have the 60 million player base that can tap into that and they can buy it. So you're getting your influx of cash. And then because you have all these creations available and you make money on those too, and you have a ton more players playing the game, downloading creations, there's a ton of way to make money that way. So I just don't know how much you want to try to milk your loyal PC and Xbox base right now over giving us the much awaited, much overdue update that we've been waiting a few years for. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm really excited either way. I can't wait to get my hands on this new DLC. If you're wondering why I've been a little silent for the last few weeks, it's because honestly I've been taking a break from Starfield. And the reason being because I'm pretty confident we are getting the DLC very soon. And I'm trying to like have a palate cleanser a little bit where I play some Baldur's Gate 3 with my brother. We've been having a great time dungeon crawling and mentally separate from Starfield for a little bit of time because I know come April when this thing drops, my life is going to be Starfield. I've bought a new controller, so just in case, because I don't want to wear it out. I've got a new headset. We're ready to roll. I'm ready to play this game. I thought about even starting streaming the game come April a little bit for you guys. I've gotten some comments. You guys are looking for me to do some streaming, so maybe we'll do some Starfield streaming in April. But, you know, sorry for the silence the last few weeks. But the reality is I fully intend on continuing to make content for this game. I love this game. It's my favorite game. I think it's healthy for me after 3 years to take a few weeks off of Starfield, play something else, start missing it. I'm starting to miss it. I really am. I'm starting to miss it already. I'm like, oh, God, I want to play Starfield again. Last night, I loaded up and I got to the title screen. I was like, don't do it. Just let it be. Let's take this time off. But still keeping up on news, still excited, still fanning out over here, and can't wait for more to come. So if there's more updates and things I can share with you guys or talk to you guys about, or I see something in the community worth talking about, I'll post it. But for the time being, you know, like I said, I'm going to put it into a little bit of sleeper mode for a couple weeks. I'm going to wait for this update to come out and then expect me back in full force. So if you stayed around this long, thank you. Appreciate you so much. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts, and have a great day. Bye.